Hey there! Most of you have probably heard your parents or other boomers saying you should buy a house. You know, build a family, invest for the future, live a happy life. Maybe they've even told you stories about how they bought their first home at a cheap price, with almost no competition. Sounds great, right? But then you realize, today, many people can't even afford rent, let alone buy a house. Even those with mortgages struggle to keep up with the payments. You might think this is just a problem in your country and consider moving somewhere else, only to discover the same issue almost everywhere in the world. So what's really happening? In this video, we're going to break down why housing has become so unaffordable, how home ownership turned into a rigged game, who's really benefiting, and whether this is ever going to stop. Let's get started. Section 1. When houses stopped being homes. A long time ago, buying a house was just a normal part of life. It meant having a place to live, raise a family, and feel stable. It wasn't about showing off or getting rich. In the 1960s, most houses cost around 2 to 3 times the median person's yearly salary. That means even one person working a regular job could afford to buy a home. Some countries even helped more by offering cheap loans for families. In the US, there was the GI Bill, which helped many veterans buy homes after World War II. In the UK, post-war rebuilding programs allowed millions to own affordable council homes. But it has changed now. In the US, the median house now costs about 5 to 6 times the median household income. In high-cost cities, it can exceed 8 to 10 times income. In Canada and Australia, the situation is just as bad, sometimes worse. And homes today aren't just places to live. They're used to make money. Older people bought houses when they were cheap and watched the price go up over time. Some now own more than one. People started seeing houses as something to invest in, not just live in. That's why many new homes are more luxurious. They bring more profit. The small starter homes are disappearing because developers know luxury units bring in higher margins. Over time, the idea of a simple home changed. It became something to buy, hold, and sell for money. And when that mindset took over, everything started to shift. Today, many people treat homes like stocks. Buy low, sell high, but unlike stocks, everyone needs a place to live. That's why this transformation hit so hard. It turned a basic human need into a financial game. Section 2. Why prices keep rising, even when nobody buys. Normally, when people stop buying something, prices drop. If no one buys a phone or car, it gets cheaper. But housing? Nope. Prices keep going up. Here's why. First, zoning laws. Cities decide what can be built, where houses, factories, offices, parks. That's fine in theory, but many cities never update their plans, even when populations explode. Some areas ban apartments or small houses completely. That means less supply, higher prices. Second, land hoarding. Developers buy land and do nothing. They just sit on it, waiting for the price to rise before they build. Third, slow, expensive construction. Permits, legal fights, material costs, bad weather, everything slows it down. That's why half-built ghost buildings just sit there collecting dust. And when they do build, they go for fancy homes because those make the most money. And finally, zombie houses. Investors buy properties, never live in them, and just wait for prices to rise. So even empty homes make the crisis worse. Section 3. Your landlord is a hedge fund. Remember when landlords used to be normal people? Maybe a retired couple renting their extra house. Now, your landlord could be a giant investment company. Big players like Blackstone and Invitation Homes own tens of thousands of houses, some over 100,000. They don't care about families living inside. They care about profits. That's why rent keeps rising, even when fewer people can buy. And it's not just Wall Street. Around 1 in 4 homes is bought by investors now, not families. So regular buyers are fighting against billion-dollar companies in the housing market. And here's another twist. Airbnb. Houses once meant for locals are being rented out to tourists. Instead, cities like Barcelona are fighting back because locals literally can't afford to live in their own neighborhoods anymore. And this investor takeover creates a ripple effect. When big firms buy in bulk, they bid above asking price, pushing the entire neighborhood's value up. That means higher rents, higher property taxes, and fewer affordable homes left for real families. Small landlords get priced out too, because they can't compete with companies buying 50 homes at a time. Worse, these firms maximize profit in ways normal landlords never would. Automated rent increases every year. Extra fees for pets, parking, maintenance, even paying online. Minimal repairs because it cuts into margins. Fast eviction processes backed by legal teams. For them, homes aren't homes. They're yield-generating assets. In some cities, investor ownership is so high that entire neighborhoods feel more like corporate rental zones than communities. Families move constantly, schools lose stability, and long-term residents are pushed out. Meanwhile, the companies keep expanding because housing is the safest investment of all. People have to live somewhere, so you're not just competing with other buyers anymore. You're competing with hedge funds, tech platforms, and global investors who can outbid you 100 times over and never even set foot in the house. Section 4. Make the problem, then sell the solution. Ever complained about not being able to afford a house and someone told you to stop buying avocado toast? Yeah, that's not it. The real issue? House prices rise way faster than wages. Even if you save every month, the prices keep running ahead. Governments try to help with tax breaks or first-time buyer bonuses, but that only increases demand, not supply, which pushes prices even higher. And here's the big contradiction. Homeowners want housing to be affordable for their kids, but also want prices to keep rising so their home value doesn't drop. That's impossible. Mortgages also getting harder. Even if you do everything right, the finish line keeps moving further away. In cities, people spend 35 to 45% of income on rent, way above the safe limit. So whether renting or owning, everyone's just stuck. And here's where the manufactured problem comes in. Policies that claim to make things easier often make them worse. Banks lower down payment requirements. More buyers enter the market. Sellers raise prices. Developers build luxury units because they're more profitable. Supply grows, but not where people actually need it. Investors buy multiple homes as assets. Fewer houses remain for actual families. It's a cycle where every solution creates a new problem, and the average person pays the price. Meanwhile, the people in charge keep selling hope. Buy now before it gets even more expensive. This incentive will help first-time buyers. The market will cool down soon. But the reality, the system is designed so that the goalpost always moves, and you're always chasing it. In other words, they create the problem, then sell you the solution, which becomes the next problem. Section 5. Is renting the new normal? Can this be fixed? Yes, but not easily. Some experts suggest a land value tax, so people don't just sit on empty land waiting for prices to rise. Others want zoning reforms to allow more homes and smaller apartments. Some even suggest banning corporations from buying single-family homes, giving regular people a fair shot. There's also talk about cutting tax breaks for people who own multiple houses to stop turning homes into stock investments. But the truth? Most politicians and voters already own homes. If prices drop, they lose money. So nobody wants to rock the boat, and a sudden crash could hurt too. Just like in 2008, when millions lost everything, in 2020, about 40% of new homes in the US sold for under $300,000. By 2024, that dropped to around 20%. That's a massive collapse in affordable housing. And it's not just the US. Countries like Canada, the UK, and Australia have seen similar trends. Starter homes simply don't exist anymore in major cities. Even strong economies are struggling to keep prices under control. So, unless something changes, renting might become the new normal for an entire generation. Owning a home, the dream our parents had, might just stay a dream. And here's the scary part. If nothing breaks this cycle, the idea of homeownership by 30 might become as outdated as buying a house with a single salary. People won't build equity. They'll just pay rent forever, while the assets keep flowing upward to investors who already own everything. So, why can't people afford homes anymore? It's not just about expensive houses, it's about how the whole system was redesigned to treat homes like investments, not shelters. Prices are manipulated, supply is restricted, and big investors buy homes before families even have a chance. Until that changes, the dream of home ownership will keep slipping further away. If you enjoyed this breakdown and want more videos like this, hit like, subscribe, and join the channel Rich Life for You to support our work. Thanks for watching. And remember, sometimes the biggest problem isn't the price tag, it's the system behind it.